Hello, good day. It's Fallon, aka Amore the Poet, pound 24. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody enjoyed their Sunday last week. I know you're thinking that I missed you, but in actuality, I just took a break because actually, the topic that I want to talk about today, I didn't really want to talk about on Easter Sunday. For those of you who celebrate, this will be a deep topic. Because it's Sexual Awareness Month. And I'm going to talk about my experiences as a child and going through sexual abuse, such as child molestation and rape for a long duration or a long period of time. That was happening in my childhood from about 6 to 12. So I don't really like the fact that it's just like Sexual Awareness Month. I think that we should be aware all the time, every day, every hour, every minute, every second, because this stuff is going on all the time, right underneath our nose, right in front of our eyes, but we're so blind to the fact of it that we don't pay attention and we're not aware. And sometimes, people who have been through this don't really share it, don't really talk about it because they're embarrassed, they feel guilty, they feel like they did something wrong. But I want you to know that you did nothing wrong, and I fight this battle with you. I have been there um, for a long time, like I told you, and you have to get it out. You have to talk about it. It helps you grow. It helps you, not sit in your thoughts or, continue to be a victim mentally to what happened to you in your childhood. So, as a kid, it actually happened a few times with a couple different men or whatever. I remember the first time that it happened, I was really confused because I know it didn't like feel right, but I think because I already had my voice stolen from being beat in the foster home, that I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. I just knew that it didn't feel right. So I was on a hike actually with my little sister, and it was with my dad's brother. Um, and when I say dad, I'm referring to like my grandma's, one of her ex boyfriends. We just call him dad, so that's who I'm referring to. So his brother, would touch us, would offer to give us piggyback rides. And as a kid, you want a piggyback ride because that's just something fun. But the experience when getting a piggyback ride with him was for him to, like fondle us and touch us. So what my sister and I, we started like running ahead because it was not normal what this man was doing to us, and we just we're like we're just gonna stay together and run ahead. I remember running up to a rock to use the bathroom, and in my mind I was so freaking scared because I was like, if I don't hurry up, I know he's coming. He's gonna come up here and try to do something to me, so I have to hurry up. And lo and behold, like as soon as I was pulling up my pants, excuse me, he was coming up the hill and I was like running back down because I'm like, oh hell no. I didn't, say that as a kid, but I was just like my thought process was like, you're not gonna touch me again. And we got back with my grandma and my dad, and my sister was like, Fallon, I'm gonna tell. And I'm like, well, if you tell, I'll tell, but I'm not telling first because I'm scared. I don't know what to do or whatever. And she told, and it was just like we got some money from him, and we never seen him again. That's how it happened. It was just like, we don't want to mess up daddy's name because, him and his brother obviously had the last name, same last name. And, everything just got like pushed under the rug. It'll never happen again. It is what it is or whatever. So then my grandmother and my dad had a painting and construction business or whatever, and they got this friend. And I it's confusing to me now why a 40 year old man didn't have anything else better to do with his life than babysit for grandchildren or for, kids every single night when my grandma and dad went out, gambling or to bingo. But this is what happened for years and years and years. He would babysit us. My grandma would go out, and he would do this. He would touch me. I don't know if he was, I know he wasn't touching some of my other sisters because I used to like purposely put them in the bed with me every single night because if he touched them, I probably would have went crazy or did something crazy because I'm like, I can take it, I can deal with it, you know what I'm saying? But if you touch one of my sisters, it's gonna go down. So it started off real small, like tongue kissing and it's disgusting, but that's how it started off. And it went further where he used to put his genitals in my mouth and stuff like that. And I don't watch TV, and people don't understand. Like I always, people are like, "You don't watch TV? How you don't watch TV?" Because a lot of times he would do this, like, while I was watching TV in the living room or whatever, underneath the covers. So if I'm sitting too long watching TV, like I get in my thoughts and I just have flashbacks or memories of what this man was doing to me while I was watching TV. So it's easy for me to say, okay, let's go to the movies. I'm taking a nap, or if you want to watch a movie or watch some TV, I'm not going to sit there. I just like, get up and do the dishes because I just want to like refocus my mind and not think about what happened to me as a kid. So like the last time that it happened, it was like actually an insertion or whatever. And I just remember that I was laying there and my sisters were laying, like on the side of me because I had like a full size bed or whatever. My two little sisters were laying there. And I just remember, it happening and I just laid there and I just didn't scream or anything. I just took it or whatever. And it was quick because whew, luckily, I guess it was like 10 o'clock and you heard the door slam. So that meant my grandma was home. So he, like, jumped up and got up and was like, oh, yeah, I was just checking on the kids and, making sure they're all tucked away in bed, whatever, whatever. So this is also why I take a lot of showers. I take like probably at the least twice a day, but like sometimes three, four, showers a day just because I don't ever want to feel disgusting. Like ever since this stuff happened, it's like you feel disgusting in your body because you just don't know how people could treat you like just a piece of meat, And I didn't know anything about, sexual activities or having sex or love or you know what I'm saying. And this is like what set my mind up for failure. I already had like no relationships with men. My dad, my biological father, I didn't know him, so I didn't have that relationship. My foster care parent, all they did was beat me, so they beat you, that's all I had a relationship with that man. And then it was like the dad I had, you didn't really protect me, so they don't protect you. It's just like, my mind was all over the place. So, and then with this man, it's like the only reason why you're here, is for men. Love is, sex. If a man has sex with you, that's the way that they love you. And that's kind of how I, live my life or whatever. So, after that incident happened, it was almost like he was finished with me because he tried to go down to the next sister. And fortunately, since she wasn't as traumatized as a kid as I had already been. So as soon as he did something to her, she went to the school nurse and she told. And the school nurse contacted my grandmother. And it's like after that, we didn't see him for a long time. My grandma tried to like press charges and stuff, but it was hard for me to try to even talk about that because how do I was 12, I think, and they want to put you in front of an officer and they just say, okay, so what happened? I already, like, You just want me to talk about how this man did all this stuff to me. I don't know you. I have trust issues. I'm crazy. I'm this. I'm that. I just shut down. I didn't want to talk to anybody about anything. I just started fighting and doing. I just started being disobedient. I just started lashing out because nobody wanted to listen or pay attention when the stuff was happening. So now you want me to talk about it? I don't want to talk about anything. So he only got like the Megan's Law, or he got to register as a pedophile and stuff like that. He can't work with kids. Nobody under 18. Be within 500 feet of build a school or stuff like that. He didn't get too much because he couldn't get as much off my sister as he would have got off of me if I would have talked about it back then. And then for stuff like that, the statutes of limitation runs out. So when you're ready to talk about it, it doesn't matter because it's over with. It's done. Not. I know it's not done mentally for you, but I'm done. I'm saying it's done where you can't, get the person locked up or But they gotta live with that shit every single day anyway, so it doesn't matter. Um, and after that, it was like my grandma. She really went like crazy. She would see this man. She started getting arrested all the time because she would like snatch him up at the diner. She would tell people like, "This man is a child molester. He molested my grandmother." They would take her down to court, and she would just tell the judge like, "I snap every time I see this man. I snap." And she would tell them that he molested her grandchildren. They would let her go. And that happened for a while. I don't know if he like disappeared or something, but that went down for a little while. And then one time I seen him, and if he sees me, he's supposed to cross the street, go the opposite direction or whatever, and he didn't. And all I remember was walking down the street, and as soon as I went up to him, I just started punching him in his face. I just got to fighting because I was just like angry. I guess I was just still angry, and I stole his glasses that day, and I went home. To my, grandmother. I gave her the glasses like, "Nana, look at this." She like, "What is that, girl?" I said, "These are so and so's glasses." And she said, "How the hell did you get those?" I said, "I just snapped, I started hitting him. I seen him walking down the street, and it was like he was coming at me, why you didn't go the opposite way?" And she was like, "It's okay. I'll deal with it, whatever." Why a couple days later I got a subpoena to court? I mean, obviously because of what I did, but hello. So, excuse me. I didn't go to court. My grandma said, "You're not going to court." I think I was 17 at the time. I was actually 2 months pregnant with my son. Um, and she went to court and she said the same thing. Like he was walking down the street, told her the story, and they just ripped up the papers and let me go again like it was dismissed. So, and that was the last time I ever saw that person. But I deal with, trauma about it, the way I think, the way I interact with people, how I'm guarded, how I have trust issues, abandonment issues. I'm still, I'm working on loving myself now, especially after, losing my son to suicide. You just never know, what's happening in somebody's life or what's going on, or, even from the past now, people like function like I function, I'm normal or whatever, but I have these crazy moments. Well, people call them crazy, but, I'm with you. We're together. I understand. So it's just like, it's just the way we are. We can't help it. These are things that have been instilled in you in a kid, and if this was like 6, 7 years of my life is like a critical time where you're supposed to be loved and told, you're this strong, beautiful human being, creature, you deserve the world mentally, physically, emotionally, just every which way. And that was stolen from me. My voice was stolen because I was beat in the foster home. And then this situation was happening, being molested and then, raped at the last time. It was just like, it's overwhelming to even think about. It's disgusting. I still get disgusted, but I still have to talk about it because there's so many people that look at me and they're like, they'll say like, that happened to me. They'll like get in like, because they're shy. No, they're shy to talk about it. They're like, how do you talk about it so freely? I said, I'm done letting that shit eat me up inside. It's doing more harm on the inside than it will be doing on the outside. Whatever that person did, they got to live with that shit. I'm sorry. You know, you have a conscious, you have a subconscious. You know what you're doing. If that happened to you at a young age, I understand how you could turn to do that or whatever, but think you have to think, you know. Would you want somebody doing this to your kid, like for that person, or you probably snap out, try to kill or shoot? I don't know. Was you doing it to your kids too? I don't know. And I remember the last time that it happened, so it happened 3 times. When I went to one of the residential centers that I got sent away to for fighting, it was like a teacher's aide. And I think I was 15 or 16. And it wasn't like he touched my private parts or anything, but he kept trying to like rub his back, like, rub my back in the middle, and you know what I'm saying, like down in the lower part of my back, just inappropriately. You shouldn't be touching me. I'm still a kid, whether I'm 15, I mean 16, I'm still a minor, and you're the teacher's aide, like you're working here. Why are you touching me? And I ran away from that place, and then that was it. Like after that, I was done being molested. I was done, letting people like this even be in my life. I just started running, fighting, and doing what I had to do to protect Fallon. And most of the time, it ended up in a fight because I don't know, I was just so guarded that that's what I did. But I still battle today, with the situation. I did like forgive the person. I don't want to say like, okay, I forgot everything because I don't forget it. You never forget. It's with you for life. But I learned, to live with it a little bit better, and I'm still learning how to live with it and how to build healthy relationships and, get away from stuff that's not for me. So, with that, the poem today is called Virgin, but it's about, my experience about being molested as a child. Okay. Virgin. I thought I could trust you at first, but then you hurt me and made something inside me burst. I couldn't even sleep in my own bed at night. I thought you would do something to me again that wouldn't make me feel so right. You only suck it in once, but it felt like it was going on for so long. At that age, I didn't know, but everything you did was totally wrong. I was your prey, waiting to be eaten. I was a little girl who was not supposed to be mistreated. What does a 40-year-old man want with a child? All these bad things you did, I couldn't even open my mouth when it came time for the police file. Back then, I didn't know, but what you did was detrimental to me. My mind was destroyed and my heart covered at a young age. I lost the little girl in me. Now I sit down and write page after page. I fight continuously with my mind to find my soul and body. There are so many stages I went through that didn't even have to be. I was 6 years old. What could you possibly want with my mind? It started with kisses, then licks, and other nasty stuff. Now, when I try to be intimate, it's hard because I've already had enough. I turned 12 years old and thought I was all grown up. A man had already shown me the ropes. Too bad I wasn't old enough to get in the club. I stayed out all night looking for what I thought was real love. Now all I pray for is the day I grow wings and can fly away like a beautiful dove. I accept hurt, pain, and anguish as a natural part of a relationship. What you did to me was worse than any beating or whip. I blocked the thoughts out with negative actions and drugs, just looking for someone to hold me while embracing my body with a hug. My life has had no gray in the middle. It's been black or white. At times, I'm thankful for the situation because my children never leave my sight, especially knowing that people like you are out here to destroy their life. You made it extremely difficult to completely and fully be somebody's wife. I have so much anger and hostility in me trying to catch up on the years that passed me by. I'm trying to let this part of my past go and free my mind. But so many days I am stuck asking why. Why did you do this to me? Every time the light turned to night, I do keep it in my head. We were kind of easy targets. Instead of taking an opportunity to protect, you set me up and put me on the market. I mean, come on. That was 7 years of my childhood, my destiny. What gave you the authority to decide who I was supposed to grow up and be? To have so much stolen from her at a very young age, to the point where she didn't care about herself and did strange things for change. So many years full of confusion, hate, misery, pain, anguish, and shame. It was a fight to get back my mind, which was mine to claim. I could spell it, hear it, say it, but for a long time, I didn't even know my own name. While my insides were being all mixed up, you were having fun playing these games. There are so many painful, disgusting memories that cross my brain. I had to be more than what you attempted to make me in order to still be living this life and not be insane. Watching TV can be overwhelming, and I would rather not go to the movies. All I remember is anytime I sat for long periods of times, your hands were between my knees. Tongue kissing is non-existent in my world. All I remember was yours going down my throat and swirl, swirl, swirl. I would fight and beat people up wherever I would go. They picked the right one to mess with. I had so much anger in me, they didn't even know. Talking and communicating was not a factor because my voice was stolen. So 9 times out of 10, if you said something to me, you walked away with your lips swollen. An apology would never help because I wasn't the first and probably not the last. Does it make you feel good that you made people live life covered by a mask? It is so sick and cruel to imagine what was exciting about an immature child. You cause very severe anxiety, stress, and depression. So please never assume anything was mild. As I release these packed away emotions that took up memory space, I think about all the good that came out of what was happening in that place. I am a survivor that fought the race, and now I can live without a disgrace. I suffered 7 years, so when I grew up, I knew my child wouldn't have to. I repeatedly teach my children about the people like you, and when they get in the street, they have a lot of clues. This is my mind, my body, my spirit, my life, my future, and my voice. Back then, I didn't know better, so I didn't do better, but today, it's my choice. I took back what was mine in the first place, and you had no business taking it. Hopefully you change because I know this can't be easy to live with. I forgave you in order to get the burden off my head, shoulders, and hips. It was a long journey, but a worth my while trip. Last but not least, I will have to say I thank you for teaching me how to protect my kids. Love always, Amor'eThePoet, pound 24. So, this stuff is happening around the world, everywhere. I know people don't believe that it is, but it really is. And it goes on for years and years, and sometimes it goes on for the duration of people's whole lives. They never talk about it. They just learn how to live with it, and it eats at them, until they pass on, I guess. But I can't let it eat at me. I talk about it. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it together. You still hurting from the past. You got to write about it, get it out, talk to somebody, find some way to get it out. But just don't sit with it. You have to get it out. I don't want you to continuously, not feel worthy, not feel your value because of what something did to you when you was a kid. Because you matter then and you matter today even more. Because your experience can help somebody else, like my experience is helping you. Okay, so I want you to know that I continuously fight this battle with you. I'm here with you. I love you. Never give up. Remember that you're important. You're beautiful. Continue to smile. Okay, I love you. I will see you next week. Love always. Amore the Poet, pound 24.